Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Campus Connection. I'm Shane Spirik.
And I'm Kirsten Faulkner. We got a great show for you today, including discussing current issues like homelessness and diabetes. November 11th is Veterans Day. It is the national holiday in which we celebrate world peace and remember our fallen soldiers, sailors, Marines, and those who are still among us who have fought to make our country a better place. But did you know almost 154,000 veterans are left homeless after their hard work and support for this country? Statistics show that right now there are almost more veterans that are homeless than veterans who have died during the Vietnam War. It also says that already there are veterans returning home from Iraq and Afghanistan which contribute to a homeless population. An organization called Ending Homelessness Among Veterans Through Permanent Supportive Housing are working quickly to help to try to work out this situation.
This week is also National Kindness Week, which is an observance about showing consideration for other people. A lot of groups, churches, and schools across the country organize community service events in honor of Kindness Week. Even if you're not out participating in a project, take some time to go out of your way to be nice to someone else. Let's take a look at CNN's story about one middle school thinking about others.
As the mercury drops and fall turns to winter, the issue of homelessness is a real issue, one being discussed at East Middle School. Janet Kuhn, a 7th grade life science teacher, wanted to show her students a glimpse of what it would be like to live without the basic needs we often take for granted.
My students are building their homes out of cardboard and found items on the grounds, and they will be sharing canned food. They got to bring one canned food item to share and eat tonight out of a tin plate.
Students braved chilly temperatures and strong winds as they helped each other create shelter out of cardboard and other items where they'd be staying for a few hours.
It's really fun to watch and see who's cooperating with who, what creativity they're using, and what I'm really excited about is once they get their cup, they have 1 gallon of water for 8 people, and their canned food item, who's going to be sharing what, and just to watch them reflect and grow as the night goes on.
Team building activities and reflection time were planned for the students in the hopes that some would be encouraged to help those less fortunate. Some of her students already caught on and thought this was a good idea.
I think so. I think so, because then if I see a homeless person or something, having to do something that make me want to help them out in some way. Think about it, actually think what they're thinking.
This is the first year Kuhn has planned this activity, and she'd like to see it grow from here.
I'll be writing a grant in hopes of getting funding so that we can do these retreats in the winter, in the spring, summer, and fall with other students and really expand it.
As we just mentioned, Veterans Day is certainly an important holiday that we should not forget about. And according to the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans, about 1/3 of the adult homeless population are veterans. They do so much for us, it's important to remember there are things that we can do for them. And at Robert Morris, we actually have become a veteran-friendly campus. At RMU, we have become a veteran-friendly campus, and they just built a huge, really nice veterans center underneath the Jefferson Center.
Oh, really?
And they put in a computer lab, and there's couches, and it's just a really nice place to go and hang out. And they also gave iPads to veterans on campus for them to use. So I thought that was a really nice thing for our campus to do for our veterans.
Another thing that in Pittsburgh at Arlington Cemetery, every year there's a parade and some type of memorial to show support and to honor everyone who have fought for this country. It's a really nice event. Yeah. It happens around 8 o'clock on November 11th.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, and actually, speaking of homelessness, I know that there are PR classes right now, and they have to do a campaign for the class, and they're actually doing a homeless awareness project. Okay. So around campus there should be some things coming out that are going to be different projects and events to bring awareness to homelessness. Okay,
and also we have something called Sleeping for the Homeless, where they go downtown and they sleep down there, and all they have is their sleeping bags. So that's a nice event that we support.
Yeah.
We also have the other program that they have here at the Jefferson Center that they do. They support. They go out, like you just said. They give the iPads to the veterans who have fought here. Well, coming up, we have diabetes, and just how to removing things from your one diet can make a big difference in controlling the disease. Also, next, Chelsea Fry will be in the kitchen whipping up a quick but tasty dip. Stay tuned.
Takeout meals for just $12.99. Call now.
Sherry Pearson? You are the sole surviving heir of the King of Montonopolis, and you are now worth $45 million.
I'm rich! It can't be real.
Of course it's not real. Come on. Having money isn't about luck. Like that takeout meal. Cook at home instead, you can save thousands a year. Feed me. Feed the pig.
Get your Smokey on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours? 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the US Open twice? 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Thanks. You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry.
Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My joints ache so bad, I wake up in pain every day. I want to know why. I want to know why my hair is falling out. How did this happen?
How did this happen? A little pain in my knee. That's how it started.
That's how it started. This rash on my face, now it's like my body is attacking me. I want answers.
When you don't have the right answers, it may be time to ask your doctor the right question.
Could I have lupus?
Hey!
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Huh. Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Chelsea and welcome to Campus Cooking. This week we're going to be making buffalo chicken dip. First, what we want to do is take our 10 ounces of canned chicken and take it to the shower room to drain and shred it. Now that we're in the shower room, what we're going to do is open the can and drain the chicken. Next, we'll shred it. So let's go ahead and do that. Press down firmly. Just dump it down the sink. And keep pressing until there's no more liquid. You kind of have to press pretty hard. And that should be good. You just rinse the sink so nobody else has to deal with your chicken. So now we're going to remove the lid and just be careful with the edges. They can be very sharp. Take your fork and knife and shred the chicken apart as you're pouring it into just a Tupperware container. So what I'm actually going to do is pour this all into the bowl and pick it apart when it's in there. Sometimes it helps if you just press on the piece of chicken and go like that. Just make sure it's all shredded so that you can do the finer chicken. Now you could also just leave it the way it was, and that's also fine, but we like it a little more stringy. Now we're going to head back to the room and finish up our ingredients. Now we're going to add 16 ounces, 2 packs of cream cheese. Now make sure you get all of the cream cheese out, and we've had this sitting out for a while. It usually melts faster and is much easier when the cream cheese is sitting outside of the refrigerator. We're going to stick this in the microwave for 2 minutes to melt the cream cheese, and then we'll stir it up. Stick around, because when we come back, we're going to be finishing up our buffalo chicken dip.
I love the Chelsea Cho's buffalo chicken dip for the recipe this week. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Speaking of good food, an issue that is often connected to food is diabetes. Diabetes affects 23.6 million people in the U.S. alone.
Wow, that's a large amount. Do you know anybody with diabetes?
Actually, it runs in my family. My grandparents both have type 1 diabetes, and my dad actually has type 2 diabetes.
Now, what's the difference between type 1 and type 2?
Type 1 diabetes is when your body doesn't make enough sugar, and so you have to take insulin shots. And type 2 diabetes is actually when you have too much sugar, and so you have to like monitor what you eat. And my dad actually, when we found out that he had it, he didn't know, and so he was just like really sick, and we weren't sure like what was the matter with him. He was starting to like get really dizzy and like like fainting, and so we took him to the hospital, and they found out that his sugar was actually like really high, and so now he lost 50 pounds. So that helped. Made him like it's less hard. It's easier to control now.
Okay.
And he takes like sugar blocking pills.
Okay.
That help, so he doesn't absorb as much sugar from food. And he pretty much just watches what he eats.
Yeah.
And like for like Christmas, we'll get him like really nice sugar-free chocolate.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
that he doesn't have to feel left out from all,
Right.
like the really good desserts, things like that. So.
Oh, that's good. And it's like controlled more by what you eat, right?
Yeah. Definitely, you have to watch like what you're, because he doesn't completely not eat sugar. If we have like a birthday party, like he'll have a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But he just knows that he can't have a lot of it.
Right.
And he just really, and he has to test his, like with the finger where you prick it, it tells you what your sugar level is. He does that. He checks it every day to make sure. And we can tell when his sugar gets really high by his attitude. He gets like a little angry or like more aggressive or like annoyed faster. Yeah, which is weird, but you can definitely tell.
Yeah, I know that's hard to do, like around the holidays. Diabetes is a very important topic because it affects so many people. It is crucial to become educated on the various ways to help avoid the risks. You may have heard about sugar-free foods, but have you heard about foods that are gluten-free? A gluten-free diet is commonly related to celiac disease. We brought in Dana Spellman, a senior nursing student, to help us understand more about this disease. So Dana, what is celiac disease?
Celiac disease is basically an allergy where your body attacks your intestines whenever you eat gluten-containing foods.
Okay. And what part of the body does it affect?
It affects primarily the small intestine, which is a really major part that helps with absorption of your nutrients. So people with celiac disease don't absorb nutrients because of the swelling that comes to the area when they do eat gluten foods.
Okay, and what are some symptoms a patient might have before they get diagnosed?
The symptoms are very dependent on the type of person. A lot of people just have a rash. Some people may not have any symptoms at all. Most commonly known are the symptoms that affect the digestive tract, like bloating, diarrhea, constipation. And for people that don't show symptoms, they often have symptoms more associated with their malnutrition, so anemia, osteoporosis, and things like that can be common in people that don't show symptoms.
Okay. How long does it take to normally be diagnosed?
It can take a long time. A lot of the symptoms do appear more like symptoms from other people and for other diseases. So it can take a long time because they may think they have something else because it just shows as a rash, or they may think that that it can be a lot of different things involving the digestive tract. So it can take probably on average about 7 years for someone to get diagnosed.
Is this like normally a typical common disease?
It's common. It's a lot more common than they once thought it was. It's about 1 in 120 people get celiac disease, and it's a genetic disease, and it's often associated with other diseases like diabetes that your body attacks yourself, whereas it can come in with it can be precipitated by other events like pregnancies or viruses.
Is there a way it could be diagnosed?
Yeah, it can be diagnosed. They actually have a screening for people whose family members have celiac disease, because they have a 1 in 20 chance of being diagnosed with celiac if you have a direct family member.
Okay.
They also have blood tests. They can take a little camera and do a biopsy down in your intestines, where they go in and grab part of the intestinal wall, and if there's damage down there, they can tell if you have celiac disease too that way.
And what foods are commonly related with gluten?
Wheat, barley, and rye are the 3 major players in celiac disease. Most cereals, anything that contains flour, bread, are very problematic for people with celiac disease.
And are there foods that gluten is hidden in?
Oh, absolutely. Any sauce is thickened with flour. Candies have flour on it. They have medications. A lot of times there's gluten-containing products in there, and in lip gloss and Play-Doh, of all things. So you have to be careful with children with it.
Well, thanks so much for helping us understand this better, Dana.
Not a problem.
No problem.
I can't imagine having to eat foods that was gluten-free. It can definitely be a struggle to find foods that fit within a required diet. And it's good to know that people are becoming more aware, and many companies and businesses are producing products that are gluten-free. Speaking of food, Chelsea is back to put the finishing touches on her buffalo chicken dip.
Now that our cream cheese is melted, you can see how, well, it kind of looks gross. But we're going to mix this up. So you can see this is starting to get really creamy, and the chicken's throughout it. So what we're going to do is add the hot sauce that we got from Romo's. Now this is the perfect amount if you want it a little hot. You can add a little less, a little more, whatever. It's all personal when it comes to adding red hot stuff, but it's just Frank's Red Hot. So we add the whole thing. I'm actually going to take the lid off. It might make it a little easier to pour out here. So now we're going to stir this in too. And it's starting to look like chicken dip. I'm really excited about this. Just make sure that the color kind of is consistent throughout it, and it's not, a darker color in one area than another. We've already measured our cup of ranch. Now, we do a little less than a whole cup because it gets a little too creamy. So we'll throw this in here. And once again, we'll mix it up. I'm just going to take my spoon to try and get all of this out. And again, do the whole color thing where it's not all white in one spot. It's, kind of this nice pinky orange color. So we're going to put it back in the microwave for 1 more minute, and then we'll add our cheese on top. While that's in the microwave, we can measure out our cheese, just a cup. So you can either clean this out or use 2 half cups like we already did. So I have a half cup measured, and I'll measure another half cup whenever this is ready. Now be cautious when you take that out because this is starting to get very hot. Now we add the cheese. Here's a half cup right on top there. I'll grab some more cheese, get another half cup. Now, again, cheese, you can add more or less, but we're going to go with more. Because with cheese, more is always better. So we mix the cheese all throughout. This is just cheddar cheese that we used. And we'll stick it back in the microwave for another 3 minutes. Now that our cheese has been added and melted in, we're going to stir this up 1 more time and it's ready to eat. Now we just got some chips from Romo's. Tostitos or whatever you have are fine. We'll put some on the plate here. I am so excited. I've been looking forward to this all week. We'll see you next time on Campus Cooking with Chelsea.
Do you like this top? So gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
There is also a very attractive extended warranty option that includes free service and parts for the next 5 years. But there's no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test you needed at the doctor that would have detected disease early enough where it could have been treated. So you won't be around in 2 years to see him grow up, which means the warranty would be useless. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Oh, look at that ball. Look at that ball. Green also tries to utilize the hill, but his rebound is just a little short. Indeed. We're going to say that orange is probably the best shot so far in the hole. The shot for par just lips the hole so close. Quiet in the audience. Quiet, please. Just wide. Just a bit outside. It's a tight shot. But he'll just be able to tap it and get a 3, get a par.
So for Chris Baginski, I'm Ed Albert. We'll see you right back here next week on Colonial Sports Center. Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody. And that's a wrap.
Anything is possible! At least he kept his pants on this time.
Hi, I'm Chris Walker, producer of RMU Live. Here at RMU Live, we take bringing you world, national, and local headlines very seriously, but even more so than those headlines, we need something else, viewers like you. So with just a 20-minute donation of your time, you can watch students present the news from right here on campus. So tune in, RMU Live, Tuesdays at 5:30.
Yes, ready? Let's go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live united.
Too busy to read a new text message, but you don't want the sender to feel ignored? Well, with Kik as your personal assistant, you can let the sender know their message was sent to you, but you just didn't read it yet. If you don't want Kik, as you're probably heard about it or seen it on your Facebook newsfeed. Similar to BlackBerry Messenger, Kik is noted to be the fastest, most reliable way to text, made up with usernames like Twitter instead of phone numbers. It provides an easier way to kick it with your friends.
In less than 2 weeks, part 1 of the final installment of the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, will open in theaters on November 19th. I, for one, could not be more excited, and it's clear that I'm not alone. Already, over 500 shows have already been sold out. The movie website Fandango is reporting that tickets for part 1 of the final Harry Potter are selling faster than any other movie they have ever experienced. The lesson here is, if you want to go on opening weekend, get your tickets now. Harry Potter fans around the world are showing up in force.
It's time for our Do You Know segment. This week we have Paul Spradley's inspiration. Let's see who he picked.
Who is this guy?
Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Gandhi.
Do you know who this is?
Gandhi? Yeah, it's Gandhi. That would be Gandhi.
Who is this guy?
Gandhi.
Who is Mahatma Gandhi? I would have to say Mahatma Gandhi influenced me the most, currently looking back historically, just because of his resolution for peace and nonviolence. He was a very inclusive person, and I feel like his mindset has transcended generations. One of the things that I try to do both in my job and in my life is make sure that people feel included, and I feel like Mahatma Gandhi was, he looked past people's religion, people's races, and even like different diseases that people had. He would just work with people. He made everybody feel welcomed and appreciated, and that's something that I feel like goes a long way for anything, like whatever his mission was. So his mission was peace. Because he was so inclusive, people were really willing to buy into what he had to say because he was a living testament of that. And so I try to do that with my life and with my job. I also feel like he was a patient guy, because when you try to do things the right way, there's people that hate on you. And he had haters, but he took it on the chin and just kind of kept going with it. So he was a patient guy with people and inclusive, and I feel like those things were pillars which I kind of build myself upon.
He was born October 2nd, 1869.
His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi.
He was the preeminent political and ideological leader.
He realized that the religious issues of India were too deep for any remedy to work.
He died on January 30th, 1948.
His words to live by were, "Be the change you want to see in the world."
I really like Paul Spradley's choice of Gandhi for Do You Know this week. He stood up for what he believed in, but did it all without violence and aggression, and it ties in perfectly well with this being Kindness Week.
I agree. Gandhi's positive attitude and charisma affected and still does affect a lot of people today. Good choice, Paul. Be sure to tune in to 98 to RMU Live for your local, national, and world news every Wednesday at 1:10 p.m. And if you're into RMU sports, be sure to catch Colonial Sports Center Thursday nights at 9:30.
And let us not forget about Campus Stories. where we feature RMU's best and brightest on campus, airing every other Friday. Also, be sure to catch up with RMU Radio by going online to rmuradio.com to hear a listen.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's hard to believe this semester is winding down, but with finals fast approaching.
But don't worry, because we'll be back next semester, Mondays at 1 p.m. We look forward to seeing you then.
Has been a production of RMU-TV and the Academic Media Center at Robert Morris University.